Hello, everyone, and welcome to Autism Stories, where we connect you with amazing people who are helping autistic adults and teens become more successful. I'm your host, Doug Bletcher, the founder of Autism Personal Coach. I was recently watching the wonderful show Everything is Going to Be Okay, and one of the leads in the show was played by the talented autistic actress Kayla Cromer. This just made me want to see so many more autistic people play autistic characters because, quite frankly, they can give much better portrayals of these important characters. That's why I'm so thrilled today to talk with Emanuel Frowner, who was in a film called Keep the Change that featured many autistic and disabled actors. During the episode, I really must apologize as there were lots of sound challenges, but I encourage you to view the transcript of this episode that can be found in the podcast description and follow along. If you would like to be notified about each week's episode of Autism Stories, we suggest you subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. We would also appreciate if you can give us a positive rating and review, as it will help others to learn about autism stories. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Emmanuel, thanks so much
Yeah,
for joining us today.
sure, definitely. You're welcome.
I wanted to start off by learning, where does your story in the autism community begin?
And when I found out from one of the doctors at the Steve Autism Center in Mount Sinai that I was on the autistic spectrum, I was a little surprised at first, but I thought of it as a blessing in disguise. I started reading some books and articles about it. Another doctor recommended that I join an adaptation, and I joined in the fall of 2006.
You're part Caucasian, but also part African American and Native American. And I
Yeah,
know you've been looking for a support group for autistic people who are also minorities. How do you think
yeah.
a group like this would be helpful to you?
Uh, I think it would be helpful for me because they would understand what I've been through in knowing what it's like to be treated unfairly and vice versa. They would they would likely empathize in terms of what I've been through, in terms of being stigmatized by others like strangers, relatives, so-called friends, or even close family. They would likely be supportive of me if I put a lot of thought into going after my dreams.
And what has been the process so far in looking for such a group?
It's been hard to say the least because there are autistic groups that I've been in that have mostly Caucasian men, and I don't see many men or women about the ethnic backgrounds, and I don't see as many Caucasian women for that matter. I have heard of Felicity House, which is a group for autistic women only, and no men are allowed. I don't want to get too involved, so I will say that I guess that autistic women need to stay to themselves to support one another because they have been told to mask and not be their true self. But in August of 18 and 1918, I went to an autism conference called Space in Michigan, which is all for and by autistic. And I was happy to see a few people of color there in a different ethnic background. And I tried to apply for certain other groups, but it hasn't worked as well. But I just joined an autistic New Jersey Neuro Tribe group last week, and it looks promising.
Beyond a group like this, I think, which would be obviously very valuable, how do you think the autism community can do a better job of supporting minorities?
I think it depends on who you talk to within the autistic community. People like myself who are self advocates know firsthand what it's like to like and for boys who who struggle and are autistic and what they go through. This ranges from others judging us harshly in heat of the moment situations, being discriminated, being pigeonholed, others treating us unfairly, criticizing us for being different, and undermining us even when we try our best. And sometimes also not being allowed to do things that seem completely normal. And I also think that some parents and autistic, some parents of adults who are autistic and children who are autistic have made me feel like, it made me feel funny because of how they advocated for their children and how they've gotten early intervention. All of them have really found fault with me how I handle certain situations. And I want to tell them and others who have similar mindsets not to be so judgmental, and to be open-minded to the way we do things, try to put themselves in our shoes, have empathy and pay attention. And I would even tell the Asian assistants who are not and who are a bit rigid to try to understand where we come from.
When you received your autism diagnosis, your doctor mentioned a program which holds social events for people on the spectrum, and you joined that group. I read where you said that this was important for you because it helped you to become a better self advocate. What have been some of the most valuable things you have done in developing your skills to get the things that you need and want?
Well, first, I'm very patient. First, I'm very patient. I'm easygoing. I pay attention, and I think, and I listen to others. And with with regards to asking for things, I I have always felt a bit hesitant because I like to think before asking, and also I also tend to stutter, and also it was how I was raised in my life. And this was because both family members were interjecting answers for me when I was growing up. It's one thing um, um, if that happens when you're a kid, but it's another, but it's very frustrating when you become an adult and you try to be more independent. Also, I would not want someone constantly asking me for things either. By being in adaptation and a few other support groups, I got to know some people and I like to think about how I'm going to um, ask others the things that are essential to my well-being. In 2009, Elaine named Katrina from JobPath helped me get two jobs through customized employment and the discovery program. In 2012, she also helped me ask one of my supervisors for my job in Mount Sinai in, in obtaining health insurance because I was not available for anything at the time. It took me about 2 years to get my rent subsidized. So I had to go through the whole process of applying for Medicaid, getting services from OPWBP, and going through a lot of different hurdles. I finally got my rent subsidized duty ISS last year, and I will apply for SSDI in the near future.
Now, I know you don't just advocate for yourself, but for others as well through many different speaking engagements. Why has this been important to you to do?
For me, I love doing speaking engagements at various events because it gives me confidence to help others know and understand my story. In this way, they can learn how to adapt in a way that would benefit them. Also, I would definitely like to facilitate groups on various topics which I know about in a style that's comfortable for me. And this would even give me that much more confidence.
And if someone wants to contact you for a speaking engagement, what would be the best way to do so?
They could send me an email. They could email me at efrowner181 at AOL.com.
Great. And in talking about self advocacy in the disability community, a common phrase is nothing about us without us, which is why I was thrilled to see a film called Keep the Change, which is a romantic comedy about autistic people starring autistic people, and you were in that film. How did that opportunity come about for you?
The opportunity came to me when the director of the film, Rachel Israel, talked to me about being in a few roles in the movie Keep the Change. I had to bring in a few outfits before I was to be filmed so that they could see which outfit would I be wearing for which scene. I was filmed for quite a few days in the latter half of August of 2015, and it was fun. I more or less had to look the same way in terms of keeping my facial hair and not cutting my hair. And when they were filming on the scene, we had to wait around a long time. And one evening I had to fight just to stay awake. When the movie came out in the spring of 17, it was at the Tribeca Film Festival, and it was a thrill to be given the red carpet treatment, and I was happy to have been a part of the whole filming process.
And what do you feel like you learned from that experience?
I learned that being a part of the movie is not the end all, and I want to be in a variety of other films, acting, going forward. I also want to see autistic people of color in various um, star in various ethnic backgrounds, star in movies so that they can show what they can do when given a chance.
I think it's important to have autistic people of color in more roles. We need more diverse experiences and stories. But
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
curious, how did you initially get involved in acting?
Okay. I got involved in acting because growing up I like to watch certain types of movies, and I also like certain actors and actresses because they're handsome and pretty respectively. And, and I also used to watch various TV shows, and they were fun to watch. And when I was in adaptation for over a year at the time, and improv group called Creative Alternatives of New York came to adaptation, and we did skits, we did improv, and we made a scene, and then a year later we performed a few times. We performed a play called To Be Seen, and we performed it again once in 2010, and it was a great experience. And I got into collab because about 3 years ago I was with another support group called Athletes for Social Success, and I I just decided to try it out, and 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 it was great. And I asked once, and I asked the executive director of the organization how I could register, and I was also told that it was very cheap, which was like a deal breaker for me. And
Hmm.
as it turned out, it, it I made a good choice because uh, I have really got to know certain people on a more intimate basis, and we have gotten we have performed a lot, and I and I'm also doing. and I am with collab crowdfunding campaign.
And do you think acting in any way has helped you to become a better self advocate?
Yeah. For me, for me, acting has helped me to take some risks and try new things. I like preparing for different performances because it helps me keep focused and to give it my best. And it's also helped me to do more public speaking. Also, I feel that I have some unresolved issues, and also I have not always been treated fairly by family, um, and this is likely not to be resolved because most of them, if not all of them, have passed away. And few times that I've lost my temper, I was chastised for it. And I just wish that in certain situations, I wish that they had communicated to me in a way that would not hurt my feelings.
Right.
And by taking on acting role, this would help me face those issues and express myself in certain skits, and it can help me move on. I would also love to take an acting role where it features dating because it could help me with my dating in real life.
And for those autistic people that are listening to this podcast who want to get involved in acting, what would be your advice to them?
My my advice would be that if that is their passion, they should go for it. They should be around those who would be supportive of them and not pay attention to the naysayers. I would tell them not to limit yourself, but at the same time, don't feel guilty if you cannot do it all at once.
Well, Emmanuel, I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for making time to talk with me today.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks to everyone for listening, and thank you so much to Emmanuel for the conversation. When you're autistic, the world isn't designed with your unique traits in mind, and everyday demands can feel insurmountable. At Autism Personal Coach, we provide autistic adults and teens hard to find support to live self sufficient and purpose driven lives through our private coaching and community events. We are now offering new clients two 30-minute coaching sessions at no cost. This is coaching that anyone can afford. So don't wait to reach out and click on the link provided in the podcast description for this episode. On next week's episode of Autism Stories, we will talk with Sam Theriault about how to best support autistic people at museums. Talk to you then.